Hello, bunker mates. I'm Cherokee McAnelly, head of entertainment at Tumblr, who still hasn't made it through The Last of Us game prologue. It's been about 100 deaths and counting.
Oof, that's rough. And I'm Lauren Shippen, professional writer who has made it all the way through The Last of Us game several times, but who would die instantly in a real-life apocalypse situation.
Same. Yeah. And this is Dashboard Diaries, a podcast for you, the folks who are in this internet bunker with us. We talk about what's going on our favorite hell site, get into what we like to call Tumblr, do fandom deep dives, and share the times when we've gone feral over a new ship. So, Lauren, what has your last week on Tumblr been like?
I feel like it's been like peak Tumblr the past couple of weeks because we've had the new Shadow and Bone season. We've had the Last of Us finale. We have the Mandalorian. So like Pedro Pascal, it's just wall to wall Pedro Pascal.
Tumblr daddy.
And Tumblr daddy. And of course, the Ides of March, one of Tumblr's central holidays.
Of course.
And Tumblr did a lot of like special stuff for Ides of March this year. Do you want to like walk us through what like Tumblr official actually did? Because I don't even know that I know of all of it.
Yes. So first off, we did our Ides of March promotion and takeover on the 19th. Why? I don't know. Because we did.
Holidays have no rules.
Exactly, especially on Tumblr. It's what day we say it is. You know, we made a water bottle in our swag store that says we should totally just stab Caesar. So that was kind of like our main thing that we did. And then I think we did some stuff on staff. I will be honest, I have been totally in the weeds on Shadow and Bone for the past week and literally have not looked at a single email other than our, like, we did like a Shadow and Bone answer time. So there's got to be more. And I feel so embarrassed to say this that I don't know that staff did. So, and that's my bad. Sorry, guys.
No, I mean, I just love that. I just love that Tumblr participated in the holiday this year. And yeah, like I've been seeing so like more so than any other year. I feel like my dash has just been filled with Ides of March posts for the past like 2 weeks. Like there was like a lead up to it.
Oh, 100%. What was your favorite Ides of March post? Because I have a bunch favorited.
I reblogged a couple of great Ides of March memes on dashboarddiaries.tumblr.com, and we will certainly reblog more because Cherokee, I want to know what those favorites are. But one of the ones I reblogged, which I loved, just because also it's in the spirit of Tumblr's wonderful tradition of making movie posters for movies that don't exist, is a movie poster for Knives In with the font of Knives Out. And it's just this great mystery movie poster, you know, but starring Gaius Julius Caesar and Quintus Caepio Brutus. And then the other post that I reblogged that I was like, oh my goodness, like is this really the beginning of the Ides of March obsession on Tumblr? Is a post from I believe 9 or 10 years ago of a knife stabbed into a classic Caesar dressing craft bottle. And someone commenting, being like, why is this such a popular post? Someone tell me what this is about. And then someone else replying with, no one tell him. And then a recent reblog said, this is it, lads. The post that started us on this path 9 years ago. I sure hope no one told him. Someone, you know, clearly not getting the joke of stabbing Caesar. And I never really thought about where the origin of the Ides of March obsession on Tumblr began. And so it's interesting that this might be sort of the Rosetta Stone of this particular meme.
Oh my God. The Rosetta Ranch. Well, I guess it's Caesar dressing, so that doesn't even.
Still, it works though.
We'll allow it.
What about you? What are some of your favorite Ides of March posts that you favorited?
So there was one from this year that I will reblog to the Dashboard Diaries Tumblr that says Tumblr recommendations : it's time to celebrate the Ides of March. Me : wasn't the Ides of March 4 days ago? Tumblr recommendations. Well, now it's time to celebrate it. So I love that. And then
some good-natured ribbing.
Yes, exactly. You know what? We're in on the joke, right? We didn't forget. We obviously didn't. It's actually my bad. I had a takeover reserved on that day for a Q&A that was supposed to be promoted, and then it got shifted at the last minute. So, sorry.
Cherokee.
Sorry, guys. I'll make it up to you. Please don't stab me. So my other favorite post was from Julius-Caesar, and it says,
Excellent.
"Hanging with my boys in the Senate on Wednesday the 15th. Can't wait to see what they've got planned. I hope it's a surprise party." So just, yeah, another classic. I love a good Tumblr holiday. You know what? No other website does just completely random holidays than Tumblr. We love the 5th of November for multiple reasons, not just the obvious.
For multiple reasons.
You know?
Yeah. Speaking of November 5th, one of Tumblr's biggest holidays, Cherokee, do you have a Supernatural update for us this week?
Do I ever, Lauren? It was a big episode on Supernatural this week, as it always is, but this one especially. We've had some revelations, some key moments. Not only just in the episode, but also in the watching of the episode. My notes are a roller coaster.
Oh boy, I'm so excited.
So this is season 1, episode 14, titled Nightmare. Essentially, it opens on Sam having a dream about someone killing his parents, and he actually they go to where he thinks he saw the dream and it's just happened, so he's having these premonitions. And so I immediately wrote, is this The Exorcist, with 10 exclamation points, because the kid who killed his parents, or killed his father, excuse me, not his parents, has I wrote, he has powers like an evil Matilda. So he's been over here carrying knives around in the air, as one does. Matilda does chocolates, and this guy does knives. And you know what?
Yeah, great.
To each their own. Speaking of the Ides of March,
Yeah, very true.
So anyway, this kid has powers, and it turns out that I also wrote here, both Sam and this kid had mother sealing deaths, as I so eloquently wrote it.
The classic mother on the ceiling death.
Hate to see it. Ah, man, not again.
Hate to see it.
So they obviously have these really parallel lives, and then Sam says that apparently he's started feeling like he's been developing powers over the past 6 months, and so he thinks he and this boy are linked, and sadly this kid doesn't make it through the end of the episode, but I hope Sam really goes on to figure out his own powers, and I hope no one else dies on the ceiling. Don't tell me if they do, Lauren.
I honestly can't remember.
We'll start a tally.
Yeah. Dean deaths, Sam deaths, ceiling deaths.
I think we're on 3 so far. We have mom number 1 ceiling death, girlfriend ceiling death, mom number 2 ceiling death. I think.
Yep.
I think we may have one other one in there so far, but I could be wrong.
Listeners, please tell us.
Please kind of give us the final tally for season 1, and also, if you're watching through the full on,
we'd love to know those
15
stats.
Ceiling deaths, 15 seasons of ceiling death, Okay, so another great episode. Can't wait on. I kind of wish that this episode had been episode 15 to really go just in theme with all of the topics we're talking about. But with that, as we go through the archives of Supernatural, why don't we head on over to the archives of our Tumblr? What do you have for us this week, Lauren?
Yes. Okay. So this is a post from 3 years ago, from somewhere around March 21st, the day that we're recording, and it is just titled "Fleagle," and it's got a picture. The original post is from Dirt Shrines, of a little frog plushie that seems to just have 2 hind legs and no front legs and enormous eyes. And it's got a tag coming off of it that says Fleagle. And then Dirt Shrines reblogged it with Fruff, which is another frog plushie. This time it does have hands and 2 little feet and a tag from it saying Fruff. And then, of course, someone made fan art of Fleagle and Fruff and said they are in love. So Fleagle and Fruff, they're in love. This is just one of my favorite genres of Tumblr posts, which is that someone posts what is essentially nonsense, right? These 2 nonsense words with pictures of plush frogs, and then someone else on Tumblr is like, you know what? I'm going to make beautiful original art about this. It's so wonderful.
I love it so much. This is hilarious. Also, I would watch a full-length feature film about Fleagle and Fruff. So
absolutely. Fleagle and Fruff, new Tumblr mascots, 100%. Our Bloro of the week.
Oh, yes.
Fleagle and
you
Fruff.
Are so right. Maybe that'll be our next App Store icon.
Yes. What about you, Cherokee? What do you have from the archives?
So I have something relevant to a couple things. I would say first, kind of vaguely Ides of Marchy, but also because Scream 6 just came out. And I think it kind of
that's right.
ties into that too. So I reblogged this from Gracie Books on in March 2016-ish, around this week. And it says, murderer via text, I'm going to kill you. Me, a week later. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I saw this when I was in the middle of doing something else and then just completely forgot about it.
Real.
I love this. It's so relatable. I have a 3 to 5 business day text response rate at best.
Oh yeah.
So just, overall, really connect with that one.
Very relatable and truly topical.
Right?
I love it.
It is the moment. Speaking of murder, we are going to get into the topic of this episode, The Last of Us, after a quick ad break.
This week's Tumblr vibe is making jokes with your friends about something that happened over 2,000 years ago, because that's what friendship is.
All right, so The Last of Us, as most of you, many of you know, the season finale happened it was a week, it'll be 2 weeks ago. The season finale of The Last of Us happened. We all have emotions about it. We all have a lot
We sure do.
to talk about. We will never be the same. I don't know if I'm talking for everyone, but I hope I
think
am.
you are. Yeah.
So to start off, I believe you have a little Last of Us themed game, Lauren.
I do. Well, because you have been watching The Last of Us TV adaptation on HBO,
Indeed.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but you loved it so much that you purchased a PS4 and are now playing the game.
I did, yes. About 2 episodes
Incredible.
in, I thought, I'm impatient. I'm going to overnight a PS4 to myself so that I can immediately play through and finish this game before the season ends to know what happens. The hubris.
But the confidence. I respect the confidence. So I have a little quiz for you, which is pretty much the only weapons we've seen in the show are guns, basically, and Ellie's knife, right? But there is a whole myriad of weapons that are not in the show that appear in the game. So of these following weapons, which is not a weapon that appears in the game? Hatchet, Molotov cocktail, baseball bat with nails through it, pipe with a knife taped to it, flamethrower. Only one of these doesn't actually appear in the game, and I want you to guess which one.
And it doesn't appear in the game, but it may have appeared in the show, or am I just
none of
thinking
these
about
have appeared in the show.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm I swear I saw a baseball bat with a knife with nails through it in the scene at the campus with the monkeys and everything when they got attacked by the cannibals. Just spoiling everything here for anyone listening. Apologies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy episode for sure. But no, we really only see Joel handle guns in the show, but he has a much wider arsenal of weapons in the game that you have yet to get to. And so one of these is not an option in the game, and I want you to guess which one it is.
Okay. I am going to go hatchet.
No. So the one that actually does not appear in the game is a baseball bat with nails through it.
Really? So the one that I immediately guessed that definitely appears in everything. Got it. Yes.
So there is a baseball bat,
Yeah.
and you can modify it, but you can't. But I stole that from Stranger Things, right? Like
Yeah.
that's Steve Harrington's weapon in Stranger Things, basically.
Yes, it is.
But the reason that I wanted to bring this up is because I love that you can fight zombies with a pipe that you tape a knife to in the game. That's literally a modification you can make to a pipe. And also, I kept waiting for Joel to get a flamethrower in the show. And he never got a flamethrower. It is one of my favorite weapons in the game, and we never got it. So I am keeping my fingers crossed for a season 2. But you have a lot of fun gameplay ahead of you, Cherokee.
Wow.
And now that you know where the story's going, how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling about the show? How are you feeling about the game? Where are you at?
First of all, I ruined season 2 and game 2 for myself weeks ago because I have no patience.
No!
Yeah, and I didn't even mean to.
God.
But I am not giving up in my pursuit to finish this game, but I'm on easy mode, obviously.
Yeah,
and
of
it is
course.
so challenging. I just really...
It's hard.
And also, though, like, I'm excited to play through this, and I feel like to play through it and then rewatch The Last of Us. I already kind of want to rewatch The Last of Us now that I know what happens to see what I missed. But I'm like, no, I feel like I should play through the game, and then in 5 to 7 years when I've completed the game, go back and rewatch. But yeah, I'm like, look, I'm an impulse buyer, but I intend to make it through to the end, and maybe we can do a follow-up episode once I've played all the way through the game.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll light a fire. And I've been watching gameplay of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to get through what I'm trying to get by. I just have to run. Yeah. So, I believe I can do it. I can do it.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Multiple
You've
people
got
that
this.
I've told have been like, I will come over to your house. I will play you through the prologue. And I'm like, I'm not a cheater.
No. Yeah. You got it. You got to do it.
I've got to do this.
It's only going to get harder.
Exactly. If I can't make it through this, like, what am I going to do with a pipe with a knife on it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the final episode compared to how the game ends? And also, what did you think overall of the final episode?
I mean, I loved the whole series overall. And I thought, it's funny, when we got to the end of episode 8, the penultimate episode, I was like, okay, so we're doing the whole last act in the last episode, because it would be so weird to split this up. And then when that Sunday came around and I went to the Last of Us, HBO Max page and saw that the episode was 43 minutes, I was like, wait, are we not finishing game 1? Like how are they going to pack this in? And I have to say, I was like really pleasantly surprised and really impressed by how much story they fit into one of the shortest episodes of the season. And that's in part because they did take out a particularly like long sort of action sequence that happens in the game that I won't say too much about because I think it is going to be like fun for you to play. But I thought it was great, and I thought that it delivered the thing that the game delivers to you really effectively, which is sort of making you emotionally complicit in Joel's violence. And also, because of some very like slight but important differences in the way that Pedro Pascal approached Joel versus the way that Troy Baker approaches Joel in the game, that particular sequence in the hospital and then the conversations he has with Ellie after the fact felt different in an interesting way. And I'm really curious to see, I'm really curious to see what season 2 is. Because I don't think that this is a spoiler, really, for Game 2. But Game 2 picks up 4 years after Game 1. And I would be surprised if they just leapt to that directly. So I'm, like, really curious to sort of see how they fill that time and what they do structurally. And I'm also kind of intrigued to see how Pedro Pascal's particular, like, coldness in that hospital sequence affects the story moving forward. But as somebody who didn't know that was coming, like, what was your reaction to Joel slaughtering everybody?
I mean, when he was leaving the hospital with the two kind of people, with those two people like following him out, like at gunpoint, I was like, there's no way that he's just gonna like frolic on out of here.
Leave.
Like, absolutely not. And so the moment like he started like, attacking them, I was like, I actually think I said yes out loud. Like, and then I think like I was like I'm just like, and I expected it to kind of like maybe him to fight them off and then kind of go get her. And I didn't expect him to kill every single, like living being in the building. And I don't know if there's a conflicting opinion about his actions here based on kind of like the possibility of Ellie being the cure, but it seemed to me that I was like, you guys are just going to immediately go in and kill her and you don't have a lot of technology here. I don't feel like you're set up to make a vaccine. So I feel like you're just going to, so I was kind of like all for it. I don't know if people were, felt differently about that because that was their whole journey. But I was like, you know what? I respect his decision there. Obviously in gameplay world, not in real life world, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course. we are in a fiction.
Yeah. In the post-apocalyptic scenario in question.
I mean, I think that's been one of the really interesting things about watching Tumblr react to this finale has been seeing the varying opinions and sort of the discourse around Joel's actions, especially since I first played the Last of Us in 2020 of all time.
Great timing.
Yeah, great timing. So I played it 7 years after the game had come out, and so I sort of missed all the original discourse around the game, right? Like by the time that I approached the game, it was already considered like one of the greatest games ever made, which it is, and what's interesting is I played it like a month before The Last of Us 2 came out, and then I played The Last of Us 2, and I was kind of around for all The Last of Us 2 discourse, which obviously I'm not going to get into. But I think the thing that I love about the game and the thing that I love that the TV show did not shy away from is that it wants you to have that reaction of like, I stand by what Joel did. Like it wants you to be like, I think I would have done the same thing. And also, this is horrific. And I think that they did that really well. And I think especially like the way that Bella Ramsey played Ellie's reactions in that last scene that they have where she's like, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she knows something is off, right? Like she doesn't know what necessarily, but she knows something is off. And I've been seeing a lot of that on Tumblr, like a lot of, conversation around the complexity and the nuances of this particular decision and what the narrative wants you to think about it. And and it's been really interesting to watch people have to grapple with the fact that there's like not an easy answer, right? Like you're not supposed to be cheering at the end. Like you're not. I was talking to a friend who hasn't played the game but has really been enjoying the TV show, and she hadn't watched the finale yet, and she was like, did you like were you satisfied by the way that they adapted the first season? Like, did you like the ending? And I was like, yes, I loved the last episode. I think they did a great job. But am I satisfied is an impossible question because in both playing the game and watching the show, it's like, no, you're not satisfied. You're kind of left with this like pit in your stomach feeling that I love. I love art that like makes me feel that way because it's so different from, a more clear cut kind of like I love John Wick, right? And I think that those movies are very much like, yeah, let's watch this guy murder a bunch of people because someone killed his dog, like woohoo. And I think that there's a place for that kind of stuff, and there's a place for The Last of Us of like, oh, I feel bad. I feel bad about this.
Yeah, it's very, like, even I feel like my gut, like, emotional reaction was, oh my gosh, thank God he's going to save Ellie because this is the person that we've been rooting for this entire time. But if you flipped the narrative and showed us the Fireflies' perspective of all of this, I don't know. I still think they were making a very ethically questionable decision by not telling anyone that she was going to die.
Yeah.
And, obviously that has all of its own, obviously I'm sure this is where a lot of the discourse is, but it's like, it was hard for me to not be like, I feel good that he did this, but obviously it's not a good thing that he did. Same with John Wick. I actually just started watching the John Wick movies, and I have like, I don't like when animals get hurt in anything.
No.
I can't handle it.
It's awful.
And everyone was like, no, it's just a small part of it. And so my friends were like, you were going to watch this because we're going to go see John Wick 4. And oh God, hated that first 20 minutes. My God. But I was absolutely vindicated after it was one dog's life for 200 people. You know what? That's why you don't mess with someone's dog, man.
Absolutely. And in the heightened reality of John Wick, it feels totally justified and it feels completely correct. And I think that, because The Last of Us is more grounded. I know, man, everything you just said, I'm just once you're done, I'm curious to see. Again, we'll have to see what sort of future episodes of The Last of Us do, because they definitely are working on a season 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Last of Us 2 adds along to this conversation in a very interesting way, in a way that was incredibly divisive for fans and critics. Yeah. And also, if you don't like animals getting hurt and anything, maybe don't play The Last of Us 2.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That was one of the worst mechanics of it for me.
Yeah.
And that's just a general warning to anybody who's thinking about playing that game, that if you can't handle playing a character who hurts animals, don't play Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I would think that would be hard for me, but I'll play all the way through Last of Us 1.
Last of Us 1, you're fine.
Ready to rock. Because I was even so sad about what happens to their horse. I was like, oh no, oh gosh, I obviously people dying in shows it's sad too, but I don't know, animal deaths hit differently. I will.
They do, because they're not consenting to the same kind of that horse was just a horse being ridden. That horse didn't want to get into fights with people.
Yeah, probably wants to be running through a field somewhere. Exactly. Did not ask to be a part of this narrative.
Exactly.
I always have to when I'm watching a show like this, I always have to remind myself, I'm that horse is okay. That horse is in its little horsey home. It's fine.
Yeah. It's fine. It was treated well.
It got to hang out with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. I'm jealous of that horse. So
ideal.
Let's look
exactly.
At it that way. Yeah.
Normally, my inclination would be to replay the games, right? But I've done that, and I will jump back in every now and then and play a couple sequences and stuff, or jump into a particular chapter. But the thing that I'm really excited about with the show being so successful and having such an incredible fandom, and we'll definitely reblog some of it, but oh my God, some of the fan art on Tumblr for this show is unreal. It's so beautiful. People are pulling out all the stops. But one of the things I'm really excited about is after I played Last of Us 2, I played Last of Us and then Last of Us 2 in very quick succession. And after sort of a month of being just buried deep in this game world, the summer of 2020, which was a incredibly weird time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I need more of these characters. Where do I turn? I turned to AO3. And the AO3 tag is for video games in general, tend not to be enormous. Mm-hmm. And there's not a ton of Last of Us fanfic. And specifically what I'm looking for when I'm looking for Last of Us fanfic is I just want Joel and Ellie doing dad-daughter stuff, right? I just want them being a family and hanging out and being happy and safe.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm looking for.
Safe and sported.
And exactly. And so I'm really excited that now the TV show has brought these characters to a much, much wider audience, including probably a lot of very talented fanfic writers who will want to write some stuff post season 1, and I cannot wait to read all of those fics. So that's what I will be doing. Cherokee, are you just going to be focused on getting through the prologue?
Yeah, I think really I'm just going to dedicate myself to any free time I have, making it through that final just one more zombie I got to get by over and over again. But the problem is, it's the one zombie that keeps killing me, but there's a whole bunch of gameplay. It just resets quite far back. So every time I die,
oh no,
I have to get, it's the getting at the top, it's a Sisyphus kind of situation that I'm in at the moment, but we're gonna fight through it. And I hope to play through the game. I'll keep you posted once I make it through the prologue.
Please do.
I just loved I loved this show so much. I have watched a lot of titles in the past that have video games or are based on video games, and this is and like I've always been like tangentially kind of interested, but this is the first thing that I've watched that immediately made me be like, I must play this game. And so I'm really excited about that, to be entering this whole new world, and I hope and feel like I'm sure a lot of people are also entering the world of this game as well. I believe yesterday, when we're recording this is March 21st, yesterday they released it for PC. So I think that'll open it to a bunch more players as well. And so yeah, just really, really stoked to play with the pipe knife at some point.
Hell yes.
Yeah. Do you have any tips, Lauren?
I definitely think taking your time in a lot of the combat moving forward, once you get past that sort of initial like infected or running out at you and you're just trying to escape Austin, like a lot of the time that you're encountering infected, it's like that sequence in the second episode where they're in that museum in Boston. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. And that sequence exactly happens in the game. And so take your time to really listen, to like figure out the best way to get at an infected person, watch their patterns of movement, and that will help you get through those sequences faster, because you won't just be dying over and over again by rushing into things. So that's my advice.
All right. I will keep that in mind. And are there any other like Easter eggs or things that you really liked that you noticed as a player throughout the season that, new viewers to it wouldn't have?
I mean, definitely, yeah. As I mentioned, there were a couple of like weapons things that came up, like the fact that Joel ditches one of the machine guns because he's like, finding ammo for this is so hard. Like that's a real thing in the game. Yeah. Like certain guns you just like aren't worth keeping once you've run out of ammo for them. Also, when they were in Jackson, there were, I believe, 2 strong nods to the second game. The first has not been like confirmed, although I think Neil Druckmann liked a tweet about it, which is that the girl that Ellie like snaps at when they're in the dining hall. I was like, that's this character from Last of Us 2. I would bet anything. Like, I'm pretty sure that's her. And then also the little baby horse that Ellie pets, Shimmer, is in game 2.
Oh my gosh.
So those were 2 little Easter eggs that I really enjoyed.
Love that. I saw like a lot of people talking about how much like the scene with the giraffe in the final episode, people loved that they took the time to add that in from the game, and it was a real giraffe, which is also really cool that they
used. It's so cool. It's so cute and just
great things.
Bella Ramsey's just so all the feels. Yeah. Do you have a favorite episode or like a favorite moment from the show that like has just really stuck with you?
I mean, I feel cliche, but I like episode 3 just I immediately rewatched it. I loved it so much. I really just loved the story, and it was just so sweet. And I know that was something that was expanded upon from like a smaller storyline in the game. So really excited to see more of that in season 2 as well. And then I really liked the pun book and the punning like tie-in throughout. Oh my gosh. Love Ellie, gal after my own heart.
Absolutely.
Wait, but what was your favorite episode or favorite moment?
I mean, episode 3 was like a really astonishing work of art. Like, I think, like I mentioned the week it aired, like I was just like gently crying for 20 minutes straight, which I just like don't often do. I either like shed one tear or I like sob at TV shows, and this was just like a steady stream of tears for 20 minutes. But I think my favorite moment was actually in the last episode, was maybe based on like a couple of different like moments in the game, but that was for all intents and purposes a new conversation, which is Ellie and Joel talking about how he got the scar on his head, and then her being like, oh yeah, I mean, time heals all wounds, right? And he's like, it wasn't time that did it. I was like, oh God. There are so many times in both games where I just want to scream, like, say I love you to each other, you freaks.
Right?
And I feel like this is like the closest I've gotten, and it's so delicious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like that and the like I've got you, baby girl, when she like runs out of the burning building. Just like punch through my heart. Like, found family. We love to see it.
We love to see it. We love to see it.
Speaking of, things that punch us through our heart, our feels corner.
Yep.
What has you in your feels this week beyond just everything about The Last of Us?
Always and forever. Well, speaking of found family stuff, I've been on a Star Wars kick recently, which I think I talked about last time because I went to Galaxy's Edge at Disney World, and now The Mandalorian is back, and The Bad Batch is ending its season soon, and so I'm just like drowning in wonderful Star Wars content. But the thing I'm really excited for is that the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, a video game, is coming out in late April. And I really loved Jedi Fallen Order. I thought it was great. And the game picks up 5 years after Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, the one that comes out in April. And to sort of bridge the two, a book called Battle Scars by Sam Maggs came out a couple of weeks ago. And so I've been reading that. And it picks up where it picks up a couple years after the video game ends. And without sort of spoiling too much about the book or about the game, basically, it's about this Jedi, and now he's on this ship with sort of his compatriots, and it's really great found family stuff. And Sam Maggs is just a phenomenal writer and a wonderful person, and so it's just been a real delight to read that book. I'm not done with it yet because I paused because I was like, wait a second, I don't remember some important stuff that happens in Jedi Fallen Order, so I'm going to go back and replay that game, which is what I'm doing right now, and then I'm going to pick up and continue to read this book because I want to be able to appreciate it fully.
Love it.
And it's also exploring like one of my favorite things to explore in Star Wars storytelling, and something that my other like favorite Star Wars book explores, Dark Disciple, which is this. It's actually like a very like Joel and Ellie coded thing, in my opinion. Like, it's a similar theme, which is that the Jedi are not supposed to form emotional attachments, right? Like, that's their whole thing. They're sort of supposed to be like separate from the world. And I love narratives that explore like, no, what if Jedi actually like do have romances, like in Dark Disciple, or what if they have like a found family that they really love and want to take care of, like in Battle Scars, and like how does that complicate their relationship to essentially their like religion and their way of life. And that's something that The Mandalorian is exploring really well, really beautifully as well, with with Din Djarin's religion and now raising his son in that. And if you're looking for Pedro Pascal raising a child again, may I recommend The Mandalorian as a chaser to the shot that was The Last of Us.
My favorite genre.
That's got me in my feels. It's the best genre. Cherokee, what about you? What has you in your feels other than Daddy Pedro Pascal?
Other than Daddy Pedro Pascal, I have some other daddies in my feels this week. Specifically Shadow Daddy. If you are a fan of Shadow and Bone, season 2 came out as we were chatting about earlier, and we did an answer time with the full cast. And there were, first off, just like the interactions between these cast members just warms my friggin' heart. And like, it's just so much fun to see compared to like the characters that they play. So the first group we had was Ben Barnes, Jessie May-Lee, and Daisy Head. Ben is, of course, the Darkling. Jessie is Alina. And then Daisy is Jenya. And so one of the questions that was submitted was who started the nickname Shadow Daddy? And it turns out it was the actress Danielle who plays Nina in the show. Fun fact. Amazing. But yeah, this was just like a really fun Q&A. And I also just have a new Blorbo from Shadow and Bone, and that is Wylan, played by Jack Wolf. Jack Wolf is a perfect little forest nymph of a human being, and like is so perfect for the character of Wylan. Really loved season 2. Very excited for the next Shadow and Bone. And also we did a segment called Cast Your Votes, where the cast made polls, and we actually posted the polls on the Netflix Tumblr so you can participate in them.
Amazing.
So we have some great questions in there, like shadow or bone. That was a really contentious one. Or which crow would be least helpful in a crisis. So, you know, a lot of debate, a lot of great stuff. And so, yeah, that just really has me in my feels because that was so much fun. I really loved the books, loved season 1, have already binge watched season 2. And also, this is a little kind of pre in my feels thing because it hasn't premiered yet. I believe it comes out on March 31st. But we're doing an answer time with the cast of Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. And we're going to be recording it. It goes live on the 30th. So I really loved that movie and it was like great. Can't wait for it to come out. And that also gave me a lot of feels. And I think there's going to be multiple of these movies. So just a lot of great, great stuff coming out. I'm going to go play some more Last of Us and hopefully make it through the prologue.
Good luck and Godspeed.
Thank you very much. I will be texting you updates. And in the meantime, I'm Cherokee McAnelly, and you can find me at chero.tumblr.com.
And I'm Lauren Shippen, and you can find me at theLaurenShippen.tumblr.com.
This has been Dashboard Diaries, and
may your anons always be loving,
your dash always refreshed,
your gifts always be loading,
and your ships always canon.
May the fixer reading always be finished,
and the answers you seek always in the reblogs.
Thanks for scrolling with us.